Hi Capricorn, welcome to your reading for the month of January. This message is for Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you like the content that I share, please click the like and subscribe down below. Capricorn, so yours is the first reading of the month in your season, and I'm so glad I'm doing your reading first because looking at your astrology, I think it's one of the most challenging astrological placements of anyone in the zodiac right now. So that isn't meant to discourage you. If anything, it's actually meant to comfort you if you feel like you're going through a time of radical change, transformation inside yourself, or you just feel very uncertain about decisions to make right now. I think that would make total sense looking at your astrology. So I've pulled your energy and the environment already and an oracle card. I'm going to go ahead and do your 9-card spread while I'm talking to you about the astrology. And please excuse like any, I'm just a little like frog in my throat sounds today. All right, Capricorn, you have Pluto and Venus in your sign. At the time when I'm doing this reading, Pluto and Venus are conjunct for the first time, and I'm doing this a little bit early for January. And you are about to have a Venus retrograde, so by the time this is out, you'll have it. And Pluto and Venus, Pluto already in your first house is not comfortable, right? And with it conjunct Venus, it is touching up against themes of self-worth and money and even superficial things like beauty and, your relationship with your own looks. But that money and self-worth is pretty loud. And with Venus also the ruler of Libra and partnerships, this is highly likely to impact all of your partnerships at this time. Pluto sitting on, if this is your sun sign, if Capricorn is your sun sign, you have the planet of the deepest level of transformation sitting on top of your personality, right? So questions around even like existential questions, like who am I? What am I doing? What am I doing in this partnership, in this relationship? All of these themes can come up for review. But then on top of that, you also have Saturn. Yeah, you have Saturn sitting in your second house. So Saturn, even though it's comfortable in Aquarius, even though it's your ruling planet, Capricorn, it's always teaching us karmic lessons around the house that it's in. So anything tied to your relationship with money, anything tied to your relationship with your own worth and self-value is up for review in that placement as well. So it's almost like a double down between this like Pluto Venus and the Saturn in the second house. I think self-worth is coming up like under a magnifying glass right now for Capricorn. And where this might be tricky is in the partnerships where maybe you've suppressed your voice, maybe for the sake of keeping the peace. There is this psychological term called fawning, and it's kind of where it's a very overlooked trauma-based response. And it's kind of like toxic positivity, but with the but it's trauma-based. So it's not done with any like ill intent or anything like that. It's generally not done to even like control outcomes or anything like that. It's usually done because somewhere along the way, you felt like you had to suppress your voice because your opinion either didn't matter, or it wasn't heard, or it was too upsetting for other people. And so you were forced to stuff it down and just hold on to it. And right now, all the transits are pointing to like how unsustainable that is. And with Pluto there, this might feel like a push and pull situation between your understanding of yourself and your relationships and other people's understanding of you. And if that fawning thing that I was talking about has been happening, or anywhere you've been like sweeping yourself under the rug in your, relationship dynamics, that's highly coming up under review with these transits. That's what all that kind of points to. Yeah, and 3 of Pentacles in the center of your reading. This is definitely looking like, again, impacting your partnerships. It's just coming up in the cards, just similar to how it is in your astrology. So yeah, if all those Venusian themes, I'm thinking about Venus right now, if all those Venusian themes come up for you around money and self-worth, all of that is very supported in the astrology right now. And Pluto is slow moving. It takes its time. It wants to see the deep transformation happen, but it is intended for our betterment. And I think with that self-worth conversation, it's trying to extract where dynamics haven't been authentic, where they haven't been sustainable, and where you haven't been able to be true to yourself in certain, in certain relationships. And you might have found that this impacted your resources and your finances. It doesn't always have to be money. It can also be your energy. So if you're tired now, I would take time to rest. If you feel confused, Seven of Cups in your energy, I would invite you to consider taking a step back, because you might feel with this rush, this surge that, and Mars is also in your 12th house. You might feel like with this rush of everything happening right now that you need to make like immediate decisions, and you need to like immediately cut people out. And maybe for like someone out there that's going to wind up being true, but I think I'd be careful. I think I would look at like what's actually happening in each of these opportunities that are presented in front of you, or in each of these cups, right? This is a state of confusion. No one likes to be here, but I think especially Capricorn energy really doesn't like to be here. You guys are so equipped to run things, to manage things, right? And to be in a confused state is something that's just difficult to accept. And I just want to point out that confused states, just like in the Wheel of Fortune card, are part of a season. They're generally not forever, right? They're part of a season and one part of the wheel, and then we come back up and refill our cups and feel in a more expansive and abundant energy altogether. So that's in your energy. And I think right now you might find that your environment is testing your patience a lot. Temperance in the reverse for your environmental energy. And not a card I like to see in the reverse. Maybe you feel pushed to make decisions that you don't want to make right now. And again, I would invite you to say what you need, if that's space and time, without giving much of a reason why. Maybe that's exactly what you need to do with this Temperance in the reverse, because underneath the bottom of this deck is the Eight of Swords. And again, this is after I pulled your environment. So other people in your environment might be feeling like this, and you having to often be the strong, secure one for others might just need to take that time out to nourish yourself and fill your own cup. And when we need to do that, we need to do that. For your Oracle card, before I get into your 9-card spread, you got Vesta, the Hearth. This backs up all that second house self-worth stuff so well. This is all about nourishment of the self, and it runs deeper than that. So I don't normally read the Oracle messages for these in the readings, but I really want to for this one because it feels super relevant for you all. So Vesta calls you to be a hearth fire, to share. There's a part of it, I might only share parts of this, and I'm gonna expand on it more, but okay. To share yourself for the benefit of all, but still have enough energy left to live healthfully and give again another day. And I think that second part of the sentence is the highlight. The second largest and brightest asteroid between Jupiter and Mars was named after Vesta, oldest goddess of hearth, home, and family, and the center of a strong community. The fire in her temple was never allowed to go out, and the fire in the hearth of every home was sacred to her. She did not get involved in politics or the misadventures of the other gods. Evaluate yourself in your life. Each human's task is to help reduce the total suffering on earth and increase the total joy. Your joy and suffering matter as much, neither more nor less, than anyone else's. Do not burn yourself up for another's cause, nor withhold your warmth, but share what you have to offer. This is not a situation where you need to take sides. Come back to the center, to the flame, to the hearth, and your core values. Focus on that center flame instead of the personalities involved. That feels big. Remember what matters. Find that deep calm within. Light a candle with a prayer and use it to bring your focus to the center, and let the rest fall away. Then decide, advise, and operate from there. It may be time to take a retreat, a chance to clear yourself, clear your energy fields, cleanse your environment, reclaim your temple. If a relationship is truly of value and important to your soul, the person or team you're involved with will honor your process. That feels really big here too. The challenge, Vesta warns you to share yourself rather than sacrifice yourself. Your hard work at holding the situation together may be ignored or taken for granted unless you know your worth. The gift, find your temple within, the place of quiet safety where you can tend the fire and carry the sacred temple with you always. Yeah, that feels super relevant to everything we're talking about here with that self-worth, that taking that time out. And if you're feeling in a state of confusion, instead of something to push away or attempt to pretend, just in case this is relevant, there's no need to like pretend that the confusion isn't there. We can accept that the confusion is there and do the self-nourishment required to get ourselves in a space to make decisions from that grounded place that I know you all like to make decisions in. All right, I'm going to jump straight to the middle of the 9-card spread, which is the 3 of Pentacles, because it feels like a lot is happening here around partnerships. Again, with that Venusian energy, it's almost like the people in your life might not have a choice, and maybe that's why this 8 of Swords came up on the bottom of this deck. I don't think there's any choice here that the people in your life have, especially those that are very close to you, that you are transforming and changing. And even if you don't see it on the outside yet, or they don't see it on the outside yet, there's something taking place on the inside, right? Sun sign personality with Pluto, Venus. There's a deep transformation that's happening here. And it's okay to accept that and to know this, is coming up here is impacting your partnerships. The top row, you got the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune, and the 9 of Swords. So again, the Hierophant coming up here is contracts, turning over into the 9 of Swords. It's possible, especially if this is a marriage situation, that you're looking at this through some new lens, because these are really contradictory energies. 9 of Swords is one of my PTSD cards, but it's for good reason. Like the 8 of Swords is like the things we make up in our minds, right? The things that we choose to believe about ourselves that like aren't actually true and things like that, or about others. The 9 of Swords is actually coming from a place of like going through some difficult, rocky, maybe traumatic times, right? And the Wheel of Fortune is abundant, it's Jupiterian, it's large and expansive, and it's filled with a lot of promise. If there's a marriage situation or a situation involving a Taurus, you could be feeling at this time like there's a reversal, even if it's inside of you and the way that you look at this person or this relationship. And that's all backed up there. Maybe this is coming to light. It's coming to light for a reason. And this might have happened in your past with it coming out in the first row. This might be something you're kind of like already aware of. But the next row, 10 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. You come up in the bottom, in the last row, but I'm also sensing that this is you here with this Queen of Wands energy. It's suggesting that by putting something to rest, it really is like the flip side of the coin. Something that looks like it might, and might legitimately feel very painful to end or do, might wind up leading to you feeling really empowered. And I don't mean in some like, egotistical, like power hungry type of way. It's really more about being confident to put yourself out there, confident to stand for your passions, what matters to you with the Queen of Wands. Because I'm feeling like this in the positive sense of the Queen of Wands, and the positive sense of what happens when we willingly relinquish something that isn't serving our highest good, that leaves us feeling in states of confusion and not feeling well, and what empowerment can come from that when we do choose to relinquish it in a healthy way. There are tons of ways to relinquish things in unhealthy ways, but there are ways to stand for our empowerment without intentionally trying to hurt or maybe to add drama, right? Because the negative side of the Queen of Wands is definitely that like drama queen thing, but I don't sense that here. And that usually isn't really a Capricorn thing anyway. Yeah, I think this is more about coming into the essence of who you are and feeling inspired and empowered from a really healthy, maybe creative space. But it's suggested here that that's going to require the relinquishing of something, even if it's a state of being inside of yourself, right? On the next row, I loved that like you came up right here in the Queen of Pentacles, because we had some environmental stuff. It felt very big, especially with the Major Arcana cards right at the top. So Queen of Pentacles, feeling steady here. And again, it suggested the next two cards, Eight of Cups, Seven of Swords. Anything where there's confusion, where there's deception, whether it's self-deception or in the environment, there is the indicator here that in order to feel more grounded and stable, it's going to require walking away from something. This could be something that's a deep emotional investment to you, or something that you've invested a lot of your mental energy and time into. But either way, it's really about, I'm noticing how yellow is the dominant color here, and it's about returning back to your joy, your wish fulfillment, and healthy solar plexus energy, which is acting in alignment with personal will and what we want. And again, it's interesting I said healthy, because it can really easily stray into that place of like ego and like trying to like dominate situations. That's not indicated here by these cards. It's indicated here a feeling of groundedness, of stability. And with the Pentacle energy, it's bringing back around that theme around self-value and self-worth. So this will likely resonate, this whole message, with someone who knows that they've been ignoring their own inner needs for the sake of keeping the peace, maybe even with a lot of people in your life. And this is all suggesting that like in letting that go, that's finally when you get to be in these positions of groundedness and solidness. Because these are beautiful, beautiful energies to be in. And that is the newness that we see coming up in your spread. The only other place where there's like a newness suggested or growth is with this Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. And right underneath it, the Eight of Swords, which came up, this is the second time this came up. So it's almost like a choice that you get to make, like a fork in the road. Do we stay in this position of like mental anguish and torment, or move into the new abundant opportunity that's like trying to flow in for you? Because we don't have, we don't have much like positive water energy. It's like Seven of Cups, Eight of Cups. But there's suggested here this new opportunity, but it looks like it's a choice here. All right, Capricorn, that is your reading for the month of January. I will see you in February. And again, if you like this content, please click the like and share down below.